What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and it's early. It is very early in the day, and I guess Konami decided to surprise us and drop the brand new ban list that is set to go into effect on September 25th. This has been a very contentious topic. We have not gotten a ban list in quite some time. People are very furious, and I would hope that there is going to be a adequate response to all of this that's going to satisfy the player base, but I've been doing this a long time. I know how Konami operates. If I had to take a wild guess, this is probably going to be an incredibly disappointing list, but I have not seen it yet, and as per tradition, even though I am as far removed from competitive as I could possibly be, since I'm like the progression history guy, masochist at this point, we're gonna go ahead and do our live reaction, even though we're like half awake. So, apologies if I look completely just ridiculous or if I sound like I just woke up, because I did just wake up. I actually woke up to use the bathroom and I saw that there was a list. I got a message. So here we are, the job requirements of being a Yu-Gi tuber, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get into it. As we can see, September 25th, the new list will remain in effect until then, which I believe there is YCS Cancun this weekend. I love how there is yet another YCS where a lot of the YouTubers are at for the ban list to go live. I guess they didn't release the list mid-event like they did the last one, right? It wasn't in the middle of like round 2 or 3 or whatever, so that's an improvement. But I also believe this means, I think YCS Dortmund is the event after YCS Cancun, so if my calendar is correct, I believe this list should not be in effect for that tournament, but any tournament after Dortmund is when this list should apply for. So, what are we wanting to see here? Well, I think people are really sick of Kashtira even existing, although, funny enough, Kashtira has been in this weird position where it's been slowly, like, falling out of the metagame because so many people were prepared for it with so many outs, but also there's been this meteoric rise in Unchained being, like, this tier 1, borderline, like, tier 0 deck as of late. There's also, like, Purely, there's several decks that could justify, like, some hits. Unchained is, like, weird because I feel like it's so relatively new and unknown that I don't think I would have expected Konami to, like, preemptively hit anything for that, but I'm expecting, like, a Kashtira hit, like, maybe more, like, Purely hits. Who the fuck, who knows? Let's get into it. All right. Let's see if there's anything. Hello? Oh, okay. All right. Well, they banned Arise-Heart finally. I guess better late than never, I suppose. That's going to be the nail in the coffin for that deck. I don't know why you'd even bother playing this deck if you're not playing Arise-Heart. This is going to be interesting because so many people had to play cards specifically in their deck to deal with Arise-Heart, right? You had to play like your Book of Moons, your Book of Eclipses, just like your random cards that mean that you can actually play the game while Arise-Heart was still at 1. Funny enough, a lot of those cards incidentally overlapped with a lot of other different strategies like Purely and such as well. So as a result of that, that actually sort of indirectly buffs decks that were sort of being held back because of the fact that everyone was playing all of these either in-engine or out-of-engine outs specifically to counter Arise-Heart. So is that going to, like, actually shift things around? It's possible, right? Like a deck like Purely, for example. A lot of the cards that dealt with Arise-Heart also, like, sort of, kind of, I don't want to say shut Purely down, but it affected the deck, don't get me wrong. So I think as a result of that, you could see a rise in those decks' popularity again, because now they're no longer as concerned. But we'll see. I mean, with how Unchained has been playing out, there might just be, like, Unchained dominance, like, and that just might be how it is. So, okay. Anything else? Hello? Hello? I mean, hitting Arise-Heart's a problem, but is that it? Like, really? There are probably like 10 or 12 cards that people want banned. Like, just straight up. Cards that are unfun to play against. Cards that just reduce the amount of interactivity in the game. And we ban Arise-Heart. I mean, we got rid of one of them for what it's worth, but... What did I say at the beginning? What did I say at the beginning? I'm expecting this to be... I'm expecting the least amount of effort, and yet we're still disappointed. Okay. Yeah, Arise-Heart's banned. All right, I mean, I guess people wanted that, so we can't really complain. All right, let's go down to the limits. Surely there will be some limitations here. Like, they're not going to release a ban list where they just ban Arise-Heart, right? There has to be several. Okay, Magnamhut. Okay, Magnamhut getting limited. This sort of makes sense. I think Magnamhut's actually limited in Japan, if my memory serves correctly. Magnamhut makes sense. Now, to be fair, like, you can still play one Magnamhut, and the irony of Magnamhut getting limited is that Druisworm, from my understanding, is actually more playable, or it's the better card right now, just because of the fact that it has the ability to, like, send something to grave. So I find that hilarious that, yes, Magnamhut is by far and away, like, the better card, but it's, like, all situational at the same time, right? So this is interesting. Like, again, a card that a lot of people anticipated would eventually get hit because it's just, like, the better DD Crow that pluses you. And on top of it, it searches any dragon, and, like, Dragon Link had this extreme surge in popularity as of late, which, like, sort of makes sense given the fact that it's, like, Unchained matchup seems to be, like, not bad on paper. So, like, I get it. It makes sense. It's just, I think contextually, it seems like they sort of made this ban list, like, a couple weeks ago. Like a few weeks back before all of the stuff from the more recent YCSs happened. And now it's like some of these changes don't matter all that much. I don't really feel like this like affects, aside from like Dragon Link specifically, just because like they get the most use out of it because it searches any dragon. I feel like this doesn't even like matter all that much. Like this would have mattered back in tier format, if anything. But even then, I don't know. This seems like a late hit to me. Let's see what else though. I don't know. Maybe there's something. Or not. Okay, well, I should reserve judgment until we get to the spells, right? Surely the spells will have something. Chaos Space. Okay, so another Dragon Link hit? Like, huh? I guess? Like, don't get me wrong, Chaos Space is a absurd call. Like, as far as searchers go for specific decks, I like how we still have Rhoda, like, as, like, the quintessential, like, limited searcher. But then we have stuff like Chaos Space that's been at 3 for as long as it has. This going to 1, I think, probably was a long time coming, but again, context of the format and decks and everything, like, sure, there's literally one deck playing this, as far as I'm aware. And granted, I'm not, like, as well-versed in competitive as I have been, but this to me, again, this seems like a late hit. And it's, I guess, like, whatever. Okay, please tell me there's something else. Please tell me there's something. Please tell me there's something. We're in the traps. There's nothing. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Arise-Heart ban, Magnamhut limited, Chaos Space limited. That's it? Like, yeah, we haven't gone to semis or unlimits yet, but these are the ones that have the most impact, I feel. Like, typically I just accidentally scrolled down there. Let's see if there's anything here. Semi-limits, they didn't even put anything on the semi-limited list. I mean, granted, that's, in my eyes, that's a good thing, because I think the semi-limited list is, like, useless anyway, but let's be honest. Unless they unlimit something absurd, or, like, half the ban list, which, let's be honest, there's nothing on here that I feel like I've seen just in the peripheral that's, like, going to be crazy. Speaking of which, Max C's still on here, so I know that's not going to get unlimited randomly. Really? Okay, let's just go see what the unlimits are. Maybe I'll change my mind. Okay, unlimits. Herald of Orange Light. Fine. Sure, like, who cares? Like, Tier hasn't been a deck since, well, I shouldn't say that. Technically, Tier is still playable, but with all the Ishizu cards just completely neutered, I think Herald is perfectly fine to go back to 3 in the context of the way the format's been going anyway. The new ritual stuff they announced, is that stuff fairies? I usually play Diviner in there. I don't know if there's a home for that. Just a random thought. Let's see what else. Well, Gazelle's back at 3. I could be excited for that, at least, as a former Salamangreat player. So that's pretty hype. But that makes sense, right? Because they're releasing or released all the new Salamangreat support. So, like, this is, as we talked about, the ban list is just a tool for help sell Konami product, right? And so, didn't they already come out with the new Salamangreat stuff? It was in, like, Soul Burning Volcano or whatever set that was, right? Wasn't all the Salamangreat stuff in there? That's it? 5 cards? You're That's it? I must be dreaming. This is a bad dream. There's no way this is all they did. There is no way this is all they did. No way. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we expected the bare minimum and we're still disappointed. I don't know what to say. I guess my closing thoughts are Unchained is going to just reign supreme for several months. The biggest thing, too, is that the Unchained Rise is so relatively new that I feel like there was just such a low probability that they were going to hit something on that deck regardless. The discovery about all this deck has been within the past couple weeks at best, at least in terms of it being public. And so as a result of that, they can't really, like, unless they really identify that there's going to be a problem with this deck, I don't know. To be fair, the Unchained stuff is new and they like selling products. At the end of the day, I guess it makes sense. If we get to the point where we need an emergency ban list, I guess we'll get one. But as it says here, as always, the next update after this will be in a few months. So unless something really bad happens within the coming few weeks and these next tournaments, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a ride. So that does it for my half-awake, delirious ban list reaction video. I don't know what you guys think about this. Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, man. I love Yu-Gi-Oh!